starter, I would like to request if I can at least have a rundown of the names of the people that are here today. And if you don't mind. John.
Alex.
Nice name. The best name. Alex, and then DELE.
June.
Jeremy.
Paul. I know Paul.
BIBIW.
Okay.
Garrett.
And JL and
Ron.
I show you the ORDEP, and then I hope you don't mind. I know I meet a lot of people every day. I may not be able to remember all the names very well. But if ever I would ask your name, I hope you won't get offended. But as long as we keep in touch, I will be able to adopt and inculcate in my mind, somewhere in my brain, your name and your faces. Alright? Before I start, the things that I will be discussing today are the basics that I think would be very useful for bass players like me. I was able to have the opportunity to be taught by one of the veteran bass players. His name might not ring to a lot of ears, but his foundation and how he understood the music was the thing that caught my ears, so to speak. And I think that would be very important for us musicians. Some of these things probably are the things that you may already know, but I hope with this topics that I will be mentioning, the understanding for this kind of these concepts would be much clearer. I'll be going down to the very basics as if I'm teaching someone who's just starting music. Alright? This one might be applicable to not only bass players, not only string players, but probably in general for musicians. Right? Again, my name's Alex, and so, okay. Okay. So to start with the sheet music, I'd like you to know that there are grand staves, as we call it, for plural form. You have the treble clef and the bass clef, and of course each ledger line for every one of them. Again, the staves and the clefs, the ledger lines, which are the horizontal lines that you see, there are 5 of them for each staff. And then beside this clef that you will be seeing will be the time signature, which I will be showing on later on, and then the key where you're playing. Okay, this one is the sheet music for autumn leaves. I brought up this music sheet because for me, as my experience, there are times that you will be asked to play something that you haven't heard before. And the only thing for those musicians to be able to play it together is for some written form for them to play. Okay? As a bass player, I think this is very important, at least to know how to run through the music sheet. This is the A section, as we call it, or the first 8 bars of the first 8 bars for the song. Can you go back to the
Sorry, I didn't put the mouse.
If you can see, this is the whole staff. This is the A section. I will teach you first how to do the first 8 bars of this one. Sure.
What notes would that represent?
Which one? This one? The ledger lines. The ledger lines would teach us the note. What note are we going to play? How long, depending on the duration or the value of each note. And then how we'll be subdividing it. How many notes are we supposed to play, or equivalent number of notes to play in one whole bar. And then so if you're going to see this one, there's a double line over here, and then a dotted symbol. This one would mean repeat. Alright? So if you're going to pass through this kind of music sheet, you will run from this area, from A minor 7, I may say so. You will start from here, you will play until the first what we call as the first house. So for the first house, you will run until you go to the next repeat line or next repeat symbol. You would see the mirror image of that dotted line, of that dotted symbol. Wherein you will look for the origin. If you will trace backwards, you will start again from the top. You will not take this one. This is the what we call as the intro, pasakali. All right, so you will start again from here, and then when you go again, you will stop here and go to the second house, which is this. It so happened that the first house and the second house contains the exact same chords. In some music sheets, the second house might not be the same. It might be different, especially if there will be some in some arrangement in short. That's how you would approach this kind of music sheet. I made this as an example. I would request for your, should I say, in your free time to look for other sheet musics and then see how the music would go. Alright? Next slide, please. Okay? These are the notes. I'll be concentrating on the F clef, on the bass clef, since this is a bass lecture. Alright? I grew up studying music in elementary and high school without appreciating it. I only thought of, I realized when I grew up, when I already playing, that I should have paid more attention. Because when I was a kid, I just did the memorization for all the things. And I studied only the the G clef or the treble clef. I know about the every good boy does fine, bass. That's all that I know. And nobody cares about the bass clef during the time that I was studying. All right.
Nobody cares.
No. Go down and eat before father comes. Those kind of things. I remember those acronyms in when I was in elementary. I didn't pay attention to it. It's only now that I'm appreciating all of these things. For the bass clef, can you go to the
Next slide.
Thank you, Arjun. This is the acronym that you can find.
Oh yeah.
There are other acronyms that you can find online that can make you at least understand the notes. All cows eat grass for those with the equivalent to the FACE or face for the spaces. And for those with that lies on the ledger lines, you can use good bikes don't fall apart. So there's a lot of them, particularly for the GPFA. Alright? And if you would see, if someone would hand you over a musical piece, a music sheet, and then you don't know where you will play, just remember where's the middle C. If it's only the treble that would be played, the middle C lies over here. Alright? If you're going to look at it, this C note for the bass goes over here. It's on the general 4-string bass, it's the second C. Alright? So this particular middle C goes to this note. Alright? Then next slide. And then, this one is very important. How do you write the F clef? To be honest, I only need you to understand two concepts. It starts on the F. Good bikes don't fall apart. So F, that's where you will start, and then make a curve out of it, and then the two dotted line, the two dots placed on G and E. Okay, so there's a YouTube link that you can find wherein it summarizes how it came about to be an F clef, from the letter F itself until it becomes this F clef. But important, F and then the two lines. So just remember where it will fall.
Why is it important?
Okay.
Pardon my question.
If you're going to study, music education per se, let me address your question this way. You don't have to study English in a university to be able to understand English, right? Or to speak English. But when you study the English language, you'll be able to know that there's a subject and predicate for a sentence. There's a active voice, passive voice, past tense, present tense, those kind of things. If you're going to study music, which I will encourage you to do so, you will be able to understand how things are going on within that music. You'll be able to understand how you would express yourself more effectively. That's how I would address it. By understanding how to write this one, for you as a bass player, if you would hand over something to to other musicians, they would understand that this person knows what he's talking about, and at least the basics or the foundation would be necessary. That is necessary for a musician is already, should I say, in this particular person. As for starters, it is a hard and fast rule. I would suggest you would observe this if you would give it to someone, the music sheet to someone else. If you will write it on your own hand. If not, it's your sheet. That's for your own consumption.
Okay.
These are the values of the notes. Just let me run down. You know this, probably a lot of you might have known this already. The whole note looks like this: half note, quarter note, and eighth note, and the 16th note. And please remember the values of each rest. This one will be important because there are some music sites that are very useful, wherein they put notations, and I think understanding this would make you be able to understand what the teacher or the topic is all about. Again, another breakdown for the values of each note. There are sites as well, even YouTube sites, wherein they do count the notes as per verbal. Meaning they would shout out or what they're counting. I put here the 4/4 time signature to be able to at least convey the number of beats per bar. So in this case, if you would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the second line, you have the half notes where 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? And of course the quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Note, there's an end. 1 end, 2 end. So like what JM has taught earlier, there was E and E and A, and then 1 end, 2 end. So if you're going to go to the 8th note, 1 end. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 end, 2 end, 3 end, 4 end. 1 end, 2 end, 3 end, 4 end. And then for the 16th note, you put E and A, or E and A. So 1, so the basic count, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a.
Boom, 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 boom,
Okay?
boom, 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 boom.
But yeah, basically that's it. For the triplets, I will try to tackle this topic later on.
Yeah.
I will put the triplets as in,
Triplets, yeah.
there will be a count. Depends on which I will elaborate later on. This one, I'm having 2 triplets on 1 whole bar. So if you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. You're going to something like that. 1 triplet, 2 triplet. I will elaborate later on when we discuss about tuplets and everything. Because triplets is not the only tuplet that is available, right? So, so I think with the help of our drummers, can I have a 4? Is it okay?
4?
Pabagal lang. Or just pabagal.
16, 19.
Basic.
40 BPM.
Basic lang. Oh, sorry. I'll just, by the way, before I start playing, this note is placed on the second space of the F clef. What note is this?
Back to the S flat. C.
Correct. All cows eat grass. So A, C, E, G. So second, so it's C. So I deliberately chose that C for all the examples that I'll be putting.
You know that.
Right. So if you're going to let's start with that C.
How fast?
quadrant notes. I'll be going to the 8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, then I will go to the 16 notes. Alright. Thank you.
Say
Thank you, Jay. So that will be the how you would
Possible to go up to 30 seconds.
yes. Yes.
Some 64.
64.
Yeah. My teacher
Okay,
too.
don't be afraid of those things because I think
It helps.
with those kind of I have seen that in classical music. I have seen 60-second notes, but the tempo is very slow.
Yeah.
The tempo is very slow, but you should be able to understand how you will play as a bass player and hit those notes in time. I think that's what
It's a good exercise as well.
Correct, correct. A
Keep
very
going.
slow tempo, and then you will. I'm not sure how many beats per minute was that, but you can have it at a very slow one, and then you can gradually speed up. 30 seconds, 64. I'll leave it all to you.
I'm doing 28.
Okay. Next are the triplets. The most popular one that we use are the triplets. They're nice to hear and they're very melodic, if I may speak, among all the triplets that I have heard. But I'd like you to know that it's not the only tuplet that's available. There are duplets, wherein 2 triplets that we use, quadruplet, quintuplet, sextuplet, etc., etc. Alright? But I will focus today on the triplets. Alright. Is it okay? I'll request for you to play for this one. Just the regular 4/4 and then on this slide I broke down the triplets into two different note categories. Before so. It took me a long time before I was able to appreciate this one. Let me share to you how I did it. I was taking a shower and then the metronome was on. I was going to school during that time. So I was singing the triplets all the way using this particular notation. And then eventually when it just repeat the thing again and again and again, this one will slowly, should I say, be engraved somewhere in your ears, and then you will be able to feel this and probably a more complex triplet as you go along.
Same tempo, same beat.
Alright. Again, for the sake of discussion, what note is this again on the second space? C. All cows. cows. Alright. So, this will be I'll recite the triplets first so that at least you'll be able to appreciate how we would start, how you would verbalize how to count these things. 1 Is it okay? I'll request for you guys to clap
Yeah.
with me for and then sino drums kita ulit ng 4/4.
Sige. Just try.
That's right. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 1, flip, left, 1, flip, left, 1, flip, left, 1, flip, left. And then for second line, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, flip, left, 2, flip, left, 1, flip, left, 2, flip, left, 1, flip, left, 2, flip, left, 1, flip, left, 2, flip, left. Alright? And then for this one, for the last line, 1 flip left, 2 flip left, 3 flip left, 4 flip left, 1 flip left, 2 flip left, 3 flip left, 1 flip left. Please remember, because these are two groups of triplets, so 1 trip left, 2 trip left. And then for this one, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. That's how you would recite those things. Not just 1 triplet, 1 triplet, 1 triplet. Of course, if it's inside your brain, you'll be able to do whatever you want with regards to counting. But if you're going to speak in public, if you're going to teach someone, I think that's a proper way of doing it. Alright, so at least you know that you're already on the 4th or you're on the 3rd triplet before you would start and reset for 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, etc. etc. Alright, so for this one, it took me a long time before I was able to play this one really. This is probably the easiest because you would hit it on the quarter note itself.
Exactly.
Alright, if I may play with JM for this one for the one. As far as the triplets are concerned. So if there's none, we'll proceed to the next. Regarding the time signature. Yes, yes.
Sorry,
No, signature.
I know this is going to be adding a little bit much, but do you have any songs that can illustrate this in a longer format?
I don't
Any
have any
suggestions
song
or
in
anything
mind
like
right now, but if you would play, you can insert this one as a fill-in, right?
Yeah.
I use it as a fill-in. Okay, let me start by saying bass players by now, I mean at your level, you will be the foundation of the groove. You will be the backbone of the music. You will be the backbone of the song. Please do not forget where the one is, especially if the drummer is throwing a lot of polyphonics, polyrhythms on you. You have to know where one is, and if you would, I don't have any particular song in mind right now, but if you would play, you would insert that as a field. I'm not sure if I'm not sure about. I don't have any song in mind right now, but
I'm thinking about this at 6 a.m. April Boy Regino.
I will go to that when we go to the time signatures. Let me think of an answer or how I can address that. But I don't have any particular song, but you can insert it. For example, if you would solo, okay, or at least when you, or 1, 2, 3. Alright. 1, 2, 3. For slappers, for slap playing, yeah, that's it. For slap players, yeah. I'm not the best slap
Slappers?
playing.
Who's the slappers?
Those kind of things when they do.
Triplets? Oh, the triplets.
Triplets.
So in slapping, that's where triplets can be applied.
Preketik.
Preketik. They say papaya. So that's how triplets would be applicable.
Sometimes the drummer will emphasize it, usually as well.
Correct.
So when you
And-
do it, you just follow them.
Talking about unison earlier, first DELE. I like how we mentioned it earlier. It is nice to hear if there would be unison among players. You will encounter a time that there will be a music sheet that will be played, that will be handed over to you, wherein there is notation, and you have to play in unison with everyone, with the keyboard player, with the guitar player, even the drummer would synchronize to that particular music sheet. And you as a bass player, I think, of course, I'm encouraging you to learn music and I'm encouraging you to read music because that's the way for us to go a little bit further and at the same time be sellable to other opportunities that not all persons or not all musicians will have. All right, this one will be very important for unison. Before I proceed to the time signatures, any questions so far? This is one of the, I think, very essential. This is how you would really connect with the drummer with regards to the time signatures. And some would find this, should I say, a horror at times if you would really get complex time signatures, 13/8, those kind of things. 6/8. So we'll see. So for the theory behind the time signature, we don't call it as 4/4 as in mathematics in fracture. We say 4 as in number 4, and then 4 is number 4 again. So we read it as 4/4, 6/8, those kind of things. All right. So we don't use the fraction on this notation. So the number on top would tell us the number of beats that are supposed to be in one whole bar. I forgot to mention earlier regarding my notation, which I will discuss later on. There will be a breakdown of the music in each bar. So the number on top would tell us how many beats are there in one whole bar. And what is the value of each bar? It will be indicated by the number below. Right? For the next page. These are the examples of the music sheets that I have. I was not able to incorporate in this lecture regarding the key signatures, how you write it. Probably you have done it when you were in elementary or high school or somewhere in your education. But this will tell us the key for this particular song, and this is the time signature. So this is a 2/4 time signature, meaning there should be two beats in one bar, and one beat is equivalent to a quarter note. So this is an 8 note. 2 8 notes is equivalent already for one quarter note. So this is another equivalent to another quarter note. Okay, so 1, 2, and then this is the bar that I'm talking about. So in one whole bar, there should be a value of 2, 1 and 2 quarter notes. And then as the music progresses, I was not able to include the whole music sheet, but in this one, if you would group this together, these two 8 notes, it's equivalent to a quarter note and another quarter note, that's 2. Or half, 1/2, 2. 0.5, 1.5, and then 2. Right? Next one. And then for the 3/4, I intentionally use this music sheet because there's a dotted note. I have okay. There's a dotted note. The dotted note would increase the value of the preceding note by half. So this is a half note. The value of this one is at least 2 counts. So you will add half of it, which is 1 count. So there will be 3. So this one is already considered as three quarter notes. So 1, 2, and another dot, that would be 3 quarter notes. And then this is a half note, which is equivalent to 2 quarter notes, and another one. So to make it 3. No, this is 1, 2, 3.
Oh no, what's the time signature? Is it 4/4?
3/4. This one is 3/4.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I thought it was
1,
2/4.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then for this one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay?
What's the difference between this and this? I mean, basically it's the same.
Which one?
How do you play this one with the done it note?
Okay. So,
The difference between these two.
okay.
Oh.
I think it would be better if you would play the
3, 4, 4, 4.
G's
Uh,
paid
1,
twice.
2, 3.
The D's paid once.
Okay.
Played, that's two notes played.
Yeah, okay. It's like the same.
Yeah, D's basically sustaining. It's taking the value
You just add the.
because there's not a value for
Is that-
3.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
3-4
There's
jazz
not
or
3.
3-4 waltz?
You take the 2.
Yeah, now I get it.
It is a sustain. You can write that many ways as well because you could do a loop tie as well.
Before I would play this one, I would tell you the notes at least for the G clef. Every good boy does fine. This one is G because it lands on the second line. Good boy does fine. This is F. So there's one line above, so that's another G. So it's an octave from G to G, and then this one is an F. Okay.
Go on, turn it up.
So it, bumagal lang.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Some people write that G as well with a tie, so that could be a sustain as well. That'd be
It
like,
can be sustained.
yeah.
I will.
Are you gonna mention
I'm
that?
not sure if I'm
just,
going to mention about the tie.
are you gonna mention ties? So
I am not too sure. Let's. I will put that in a.
But that could
in
be
the-
a sustain as well. That could be written as sustain, that G with the G at the end, as a tie if you put a line.
Yeah.
But as a string player, I would play that string in a, should I say, at least
A muted.
I would slide it. I would
Yeah.
slide it.
Oh.
Like for example.
Oh yeah. Sorry, if it was the same note, I can't see properly if that's the same note.
No,
But if it
that's
was
the same-
if it was the same note,
It's the same note. So
oh you. Okay,
You're going to
alright.
put a tie
You
or-
could do that.
if there's a tie like, okay, what he's talking about ties is about a continuation
Yeah.
of the note in a single stroke. For both players, at one stroke you will play those should I say group of notes in
Yeah.
a single stroke. That's how I understood it.
Okay.
Okay.
So by your interpretation, you'd slide, right?
But this one, if there will be a tie, if
Okay.
you would put a tie on it.
Okay.
Just to answer his question. Again, a tie is a continuation of the note that you initially played. So going back, I think this one would be more effectively taught if I would be showing you some tunes, which I will do so later on. I think you will be able to appreciate this once we go to the examples of the songs. Alright, let me just run through the time signatures.
Yeah, you got ties.
This, okay, this one is 6/8. I like the song a lot. So 6/8 would mean this is the number of beats in one bar. 8 meaning one beat is equivalent to an 8 note. Alright, so a quarter note is equivalent already to 2 values or 2 beats. So this is a quarter note with a dot. So this value is already 2 and so this is 3 already. This is already 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, then 6. Alright? 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is already equivalent to, this is a 16th note, so this is equivalent to, this 2 would be
1/8.
equivalent to, wait, wala ako nang- 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright? Same thing with, okay, it's not the whole sheet, it's not the whole music sheet. Alright, for this one, 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5, that correct? No.
And how do you interpret this?
This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how you would count it inside the whole chord.
This means that you're doing double.
Yeah, this is a double notes. It's a double stop. It's meant to be played probably together with this one if you're a piano player.
Like a
Correct?
chord.
It's a chord, which we will tackle later on. But for 6/8, just to remember, the value would depend on the number below, which is 8, which indicates 1 beat is equivalent to 8 notes. So a quarter note would be 2 values already, 2 beats already. Correct? Next one.
Take 5.
And then of course take 5, one of the more popular 5/4 time signatures. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1. Does the solo. It's the job of the bass player to be the backbone, to be the one, to be the foundation of the whole song.
Poste.
Yeah, poste. If you would listen to the whole song, it's really the drummer that shines on this particular song. Even though it was composed by a saxophone player, Paul Desmond. This one. Okay, we will give some examples for other time signatures later on.
Yeah, that's 5 chords.
Intervals.
Okay, before we proceed to the intervals, I think we should give examples first for the time signatures. I will pause for a while before we go to that. Anyone who wants to have a break before we do the...
Oh, there's snap.
Break time!
Do this. The bass and the drummer. Anyone who recognizes the time signature?
2/4?
This is Lingos by Snarky Puppy.
Okay.
I like this band so much. I mean, I think it's, for me, how I would describe this band is, it's
The smoking session,
theory in
smoking
application,
section.
making good music.
They're from Berkeley, right? Or
I know the bass players from Berkeley, but I'm not sure about the
I
other
think
players.
there's a project where they're always shifting members.
I think so.
It's like a Berkeley music group.
Yeah, it's a
Not
Berkeley,
Berkeley.
okay. But I like their music a lot. It's
That's why they're so good.
let's start with the. Listen to the keyboards.
Ano yung keyboardist ng ano? Maroon 5. Siguro. Keyboardist ng itim. Sa Letterman. Nice.
5/4.
Just the name of the song, Lingus by Snarky Puppy. It's 5/4. It's 5/4. Right? So bass players, because it's your actually all players are timekeepers. All members of the band, all members of the group should be timekeepers. Just imagine a house being carried by all the members of the group. If only one person is carrying the house, it will not move. Two persons might not be enough. If you're a quartet, you need 4 people to carry that house. Just imagine the effort if only one person is carrying the house, or all of you are carrying the house. So timekeeping is mandatory for every player, particularly for bass players as well. So, as for example, let me start with this one. I want at least a consensus. What's the time signature for this? Drummer, bass player, you want to? 4/4. Sorry? 4/4, yes, correct. It's 4/4. Okay. This is Habulan by Sound.
Galing ng banda yan.
This one is another. Nanghinaing ako eh. This is
Sinong banda?
one of the Sound. The name of the band is Sound.
Galing.
There are Filipinos who make this kind of nice music. Beautiful, nice to the ears. So that's 4/4.
Acid jazz.
Okay. This is the first song that I appreciated with this time signature. Tell me the time signature for this song. This is Ewan by Apocalyptic Society. Sorry for you guys. I deliberately chose the Filipino music because it's really rich in culture and melody. What's the time signature for this one?
6/8.
I'll answer. 3/4, 6/8.
Or 3/4, yeah, suicide.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You want 6/8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or you want 3? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So
Yeah.
it's very
Iris.
nice. It's yeah, Iris.
Very popular.
In classical music, they call it waltz. You can dance on it. 6/8, 3/4. It's one of the favorite odd time signatures that players would choose. Another example. I hope by this time at least at least my goal for this one is for you to understand and differentiate 3/4, 6/8, and of course 4/4. All right. And then
Yan. Sige,
let's
sige.
go to a more complex. Let's see if we can. This is a church song.
I-text mo lang mamaya.
alleged. I think it was Noel Cabangon who made this arrangement. He's the one who made crazy guy, so to speak, in music. He has this album entitled Medjazz, meaning Medyo Jazz. He made a lot of popular songs into odd time signatures, which are really great. So I think it was Noel. I suspect it was Noel Cabangon. It's not confirmed. And then this one, another. Listen to this song. Power Sessions. Okay. You should know Karel Manasa. Karel Manasa. Karel Manasa.
Magbilang.
Mike Alba.
Favorite. 7-8. 7-8. 7-8. 7-8.
Yeah, you're good. 7-4. Yeah, it says 7-8.
7-8.
7-4.
7-4.
There's an Aerosmith song. I think a 7-8 like rock. Dembo is a 7-8. Yeah, it's my like offbeat rock. But I think Aerosmith have that kind of sound as well. Aerosmith kind of a push it.
So sometimes odd time signatures can be useful because there are people who would incorporate it in a 4/4 field. 4/4 time signature, but they would break it down into several things. Like for example, 3/4, 3/4, and then 2/4. Okay, I'll give you an example. And then again, another Filipino band.
It's unusual.
I listened to the
Israel
song.
Houghton is
I heard the
playing
song before.
Here,
Because I was listening
Israel.
to
Give me for corner.
not this part, not this part. This 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'll teach you how I do They say 4/4. Okay, if I would break down that song,
8 something.
okay, I will try to play it and then probably someone can
4.
yeah, it's 4/4, but they broke it up in that particular in the verse as the way I approach that song is 3/4, 3/4, and then 2/4. Okay, of course the intro is 4/4. You can still play 4/4, but the way the rhythm player played on that particular song, I think it was broken down to 3/4, 3/4, and then 2/4. So as a bass player, you will be able to put in the groove more effectively if you know how the song, should I say, was made, how it was composed, and everything. So if I'm going to play that again, 3/4, 3/4, 2/4. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. Yeah, polyrhythm, so correct. And not only that, I'll give you this popular song.
Dance of Eternity.
Dance of Eternity. We can work it out.
Or A Nightmare to Remember.
This is by the Gaetos. There are two ways at least for you to be able to play this kind of music. Number one, you've been listening it for many times, that it has already sunken into your ears, into your heart, and that you can play it even without notation. For people that will be shown a music sheet where you will be asked to play that song for the first time, you haven't played it, you can break it down in a much simpler subdivisions.
Try to see it my way. Do I have to keep on talking till we can work it out? what you say.
Later on. One, two. One, two, three. One, two, three. One,
Reflex.
two. Okay. On one hand. Okay, divided it in this way. So you can some composers will divide the song this way. It sounds nice, really. Some people might not be able to appreciate the complexity of how it was made. Probably because we grew up listening to this song all the years of our lives. But I think this is how you would be able to apply the time signatures as far as your playing is concerned. Yes, another thing is, of course, you listen to the song again. You don't need any notation. Of course, that one still works. But I would still encourage you to know at least the theory behind on what you're doing. Okay, any questions for time signature? Any All right. Now we're going to tackle about intervals. I included this in the topic because there are a lot of lessons over there online, wherein if you're not familiar on the terminologies that they're talking about, you may not be able to, should I say, make the most out of what the lesson is offering you. All right. So at least for this. Is this on?
Yeah.
Turn the power on.
So, okay, before I start, this one is important for you as a bass player so that at least you'll be able to understand the lessons that you can get online. This is just, the things that I'm saying right now are all basics. I hope this one would put your foot inside your curiosity towards music, music theory and music happens inside. For intervals, it is described or defined as the distance between two notes. So it is also important if you would be able to recognize the intervals of each note. I would suggest you would make a list of the songs that you know containing the same intervals. I don't have a list of song for every interval that is written here, but I have my own favorites which I will share to you later on. Of course, unison, it's the same note. Alright? For minor second, it's just half bar away. I'll start with C, by the way. I started with C, this one is C. Of course, unison is C. Same note, same degree. It's not an octave higher or lower, it's the same note. When someone would say minor second, the piano player, okay, I'm playing the minor second on this beat or whatever. He meant this is the interval, just one fret away or a half step away. And then when you say major second, it's C to D. And then augmented second is the same as minor third, or C to E flat. And then the next one would be major third. Right. By the way, going back to minor second, for ear training or for those who would be interested in this music intervals, one song that I know about for minor third will be Lullaby of Brahms, and then
I know it from Jules.
There's a lot of songs probably more applicable than this.
Jules.
But if you would hear this, or at least someone would say, hey, it sounds like minor third, you'll be able to hear it. If you're going to transcribe, if you're going to do transcription, this will be very useful, even for bass. But it's a little bit more challenging because of the low notes. Sometimes it's a little bit darker sounding compared to the major third.
Oh yeah.
But then, alright, so that's for the minor third. Major third is just imagine C to E, and then perfect fourth. Alright? There's a lot of songs for this one. My favorite is Bahay Kubo. I like this song. I like this. I use this particular song because this is how I would intonate on an upright bass, so that I know where the C is. Because this is an open note. This is G. If I would look for the C note. I'll just sing to my ears or to my head. Bahay Kubo, Bahay Kubo. That's Bahay. Or some say, here comes the bride. Here comes. Okay. So for me, Bahay Kubo works. So Bahay. If you're on a fretless bass without any marker, I think that would be useful. If you would be playing the upright bass without any marker, which I would suggest without a marker, so Bahay Kubo works for me. I hope that would work for you as well. Alright? And then my favorite, the major fifth. This is very important, especially if you hear the bossa nova. This is perfect fifth. Perfect fourth, perfect fifth. Okay, or my dahil ano ngayon.
Star Wars.
Mali ba? So ayun. So if Star Wars works for you, for this one, that would be helpful. And then minor six, of course, that's what they meant, or augmented fifth. And then the major sixth. Then minor seventh. And then major seventh. And then of course octave. Okay. Before we proceed to the next topic, I would like you to know, if you're still a little bit not into this one, you can label each note of the, let's say, the major scale by numbers. If you would know this as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you can use the letters like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, or you would put the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that will be the numbers without the sharps, without the flats. Alright?
There's also a practical, obviously, idea of knowing that stuff. Is hearing music and be able to working it out.
Correct. That's the one that you know about intervals and everything.
Yeah, you just work it out. So you hear, well, this is between notes, you know straight away. What's that note? Oh, it's that note. And that note. And that's why bass players, some of the very good ones you can hear, play everything from one go. They'll play something, go, da-da-da, 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 and they can scat as well. So
They can
sing their notes as well.
Again, I would encourage you to at least the major ones, the major second, major third, minor third, fourth, fifth, sixth, major and minor seventh, and then of course the octave. Make a list of songs.
Flat five.
You'll be able to. That's my favorite really, because that's what I hear on the fourth, perfect fourth.
13th, 11th.
Especially if you're getting stuck there on the on the stage, you think, oh, what's that note? What's that note? You don't know. But
if you put it on some other notes, it will be easier for you. Like for example, this is a C sharp.
Yeah.
If I would put the song Bahay Kubo, my voice is really not that good. That's why I'm not a singer. Mataas lang eh. The note is so high that my vocal cords cannot reach that. But that's how it works. You would be able to recognize the interval just by listening to it. So make a list of songs and you'll be able to. Okay?
11, 13.
Again, the intervals, just to review, major second, major
seven.
second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, and octave. Again, I'm putting it on the key of C.
How about the 9 and 11 and 13?
Okay, good question. Good. That would be defined, the number that you're mentioning will be defined by the root note, because the root note will be the 1.
The 1,
So if
yeah.
you're talking about C, and this this is my C. If you want the 9, which is a very melodic sounding, like for example the
It's a major third, basically.
that's the 9.
Nine.
Because you would the B flat would be your 1. So 1. If you're going to do the B flat major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the octave. 9. Okay. You may ask, is this the 9? It depends on which. If you're a keyboard player, depends.
Just an octave.
It depends on which is your first note or the root note of the chord that you're playing. So the 9 for this one would be this. Okay? So if you're playing C9, make sure that the D would really ring. Usually that number would be on the highest note of the sequence of the chords. So for keyboard players, you would notice them play the C. If you say C9, you would hear the 9th note or the D, the higher D. In the chord.
For the 11, you just add 2 fret.
Correct. So, okay, my question would be, if I'm going to start with C, do you know what would be the 11th, what will be the note for the 11th interval from this note? So let's start. 1. Okay, I'll answer this. I'll answer 13, which is very important, and then I will ask you about what note is 15. So for 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's D.
Plus 2.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So for the 9th chord, C9, make sure that the D would be able to be heard. If you're going to say 11, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, make sure that the F will be heard when you play that chord. And then 13 would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So make sure that the A will be played. So my question for 15, what's the 15? Okay, so let's start. So here's how I would approach it for complex chords, so that I know what's the highest chord.
8 times
I would skip to 8 because I know that 8 is an octave of my root. So this will be my 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So what's the answer? It's the second octave. It's the second octave of the chord that you're playing. Okay? Any keyboard player around? So for keyboard players, they would appreciate you doing that melody. If they say 9, and then you would, instead of you could, for example, the chord is C9, right? You know that it's D. Like that. Like that. It will be very melodic if you will be able to play the 9th interval on your chord. Or same thing, 11, 13.
So
Shall we discuss how they
the
form that
15
later?
is the second octave minus 4 is the shortcut for 11.
Something like that.
Kuya Will.
Alright, I would pass, but this one can be a long topic, but I would like to present this one because I would like to focus later on the dominant interval, on the dominant scale of this degree. Alright?
scale. Yeah, harmonic scale.
I passed through this lesson when I was in elementary. I didn't pay attention to it. I just memorized the whole sequence, really. But for application, I think understanding the theory behind how the chords are made, particularly for the dominant, it will be very helpful.
Dito sa side.
Okay,
Sa
so
side.
the root will be the tonic,
Di ba harapan?
the major second will be the supertonic, and then the third will be median, subdominant, dominant. Let me pause. The dominant refers to the 5th interval from the root. Alright? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tonic, supertonic,
Ano daw si
median,
Kuya Will sa
subdominant,
labas?
and then dominant.
Hindi niya alam yung
So from C is the G.
Hindi niya alam entrance.
I will go to that in more detail later on with regards to the how to construct the chords and how it works later on. So this one will be important for us to be able to tackle that topic. To continue, dominant, then the 6 will be submedian, 7 is the leading note, just a half step before you go to the octave or the tonic again. Alright, that's for the scale degrees. There's a different one for minor, which only differs for the subtonic. For the minor scale, it's, if I would go for the, let's say C minor, C, going back to the tonic. Okay? Any questions so far?
Dumanda.
So, as for the sale release. Sorry. Alright, it's okay, it's okay. For the modes.
Modes. My
We'll
favorite.
start. Again, this is another gist of the lecture for today. This one opened up a lot of things to me. I was able to explore more on my playing after understanding this one. Okay? So, let me start by the sequence. Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Euclidean, Aeolian, Locrian. The orientation of this lecture is how I was taught, how I digested it. Do this very slowly. If you're not able to grasp it right now at this point in time, don't be frustrated. It will really take some time before it will be understood. But try this very slowly. One mode per day or one mode per week, if that would be necessary for you to be able to understand the whole thing. Right? There's a shortcut, but I only knew about it after I have learned it the harder way. But I will mention that later on. I'm not sure. Okay. I highlighted some notes over here because as a starter, this one is very important for chord construction. Before we start, is it okay? I would have a break for technical break. Pag-video ako, gusto ko itong mapanood. Okay, to continue, again, we're on the topic of the modes. But in passing, I will try to start up introducing some concepts or some theory behind chord construction. Okay, first is the Ionian mode. When I had a teacher who taught me these things, it was all notes, alright, and the keyboard, not the bass. It was a keyboard and my music notebook. The requirement that I had was bring your own instrument, bring a music notebook, and bring your own cable. If I don't have any, if I miss something, he will not continue the teaching. Of course, he didn't say that, but that's what I thought. So, again, let me refresh the notes. All cows eat grass. That's for the space. A-C-E-G. Okay? And then good bikes don't fall apart for the one that falls on the ledger line. So for the Ionian mode, I will do this on this notation using the C major scale or the key of C. So there's no sharps, there's no flats, there's no accidentals for this one. So if I would play the Ionian mode, I will use the numbers for this one and the letters. So for Ionian, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For C, E, F, G, A, B, C. Right? Or Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. This is the Ionian mode. I place these highlights because I would like to introduce as early as now how you construct chords by using arpeggios. If you would notice, you're skipping one note for this particular scale. For example, you're using 1, 3, 5, 7. So if you want to play 9, if you're on a keyboard, you will play the 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. If you want to play the 11th, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 interval, those kind of things. That's how chords are being constructed. But I would start for this whole lecture for the triad and the major and minor 7. Alright? So let me repeat what I mentioned about Ionian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that will be for the Ionian mode. Going to the next.
Dorian.
Would be the Dorian mode. For Dorian, we have 2 flats. So 1, 2, flat 3 for the E flat for the C major scale. Let me repeat. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and then 8. Okay, let me repeat. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 8. The way that I studied this was that I was reciting each interval by numbers as I play the whole mode. So 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 8. Okay? For the notes for this arpeggio, or skipping one note for every chord, that would be C, E flat, G, and then B flat. Alright? That's for the Dorian mode. For the Phrygian, it's C. Sorry, let's start with the numbers first. 1, flat 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and then 8. Or C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. Right? I'll just continue with the next of the modes. For Lydian, this one is very melodic. When you make your own bass line or solos using the Lydian, this is one of the brightest sounding, brighter sounding solos. If you want the happy stuff on your solos, this works on a major chord, Lydian. Okay, so doing it in C, all you need to do is remember the Ionian modes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, with a sharp 4. So C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, C. Okay? So this one is probably the brightest sounding when you solo or when you do bass lines. Happy sounding, so to speak.
Favorite mixo.
This is my favorite, the Mixolydian mode. I will tell it to you later on why. But for Mixolydian, this was popularized by Jaco. A lot of his playing runs around Mixolydian. I'm not sure. Okay, that statement, I'm not sure if he's the one who popularized it, but he's one of the more popular players who utilizes the song. All right. For this one, it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. If you notice, the Lydian has the sharp 4. This one has the flat 7. Alright? You would hear Jaco altering between 6 and 7 for his playing. I'm not sure if that is Jaco-ish enough, but that's how he would utilize this. The chicken is entirely written on a dominant 7 chord, wherein you will do the Mixolydian actually for the whole song. It depends on the change of every key. But for this one, just remember, for the Mixolydian mode, it's a flat 7. I made a video before. I think I mistook the notes to a flat 6 instead of flat 7. But for Mixolydian, it's flat 7. For the Aeolian, this is known as the minor scale. So
Favorite ko rin yan. Aeolian.
This is the 6th interval. So C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. Or 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 8. Again, when I studied this one, I did it very slowly with a metronome, reciting each notation by numbers. Like I go like 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 8, those kind of things. That's how I started, how I practice with this particular mode. For the arpeggio, so C, E flat, G, D flat. For the Locrian, this one has the most number of flats. It's a dark sounding, but I like it as well. I made a video before that contains the Locrian. It's a dark sounding, Egyptianish kind of thing if you would listen to this one. So,
Abnormal.
just to run down, 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, 8.
Terrible minus.
So C, D flat, E flat,
It's like minus scale being
F,
wrong.
yeah.
It's like minus scale.
So this is really
Imagine
a
how are
dark
you gonna
sounding.
use that?
But you play it wrong.
I haven't listened to Yngwie Malmsteen enough, but they say Mom's team would use this a lot in his solos. Alright? So,
That bastard.
Locrian. I think that's it.
He doesn't know his minus.
Alright. Okay. Do you have any questions with regards to this game? Now I will teach you the shortcut that was given to me. If you're confused on, or at least you haven't grasped the concept of this modes thing,
Harmonic
look at it this way.
Position 1.
Okay, so C. Just imagine the C major scale, like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. It still runs as your. My question: does anyone, particularly for sync players, bass players, for this particular session, do you know? Does any one of you who doesn't know all the notes in your fretboard? I would suggest, if not, if the answer is no, please memorize, as in memorize by heart, visually, by ear, all the notes in the fretboard. Right? Before I would continue again, so if someone would hit this, and then at least I'm showing you right now, you know that this is F. If I show you this, you know that this is D flat or D flat or C sharp, those kind of things. So for the Ionian mode, if I'm going to map the whole C major scale in this fretboard, did anyone notice something from, not how I played, probably my playing sucks, but how I could correlate it with the modes for this one? Someone mentioned to me, you just need to play, imagine the root note of this particular scale. So if this is the Ionian, you would start on C. If you would play the C major scale starting on D, this is the Dorian. Okay? So if this is, you're playing under the key of C and you want to play the Phrygian, starting on E or E Phrygian, for the Lydian, for the F, G Mixolydian, A Aeolian, B Locrian. So it all falls in the C major scale, but in a different finger position. If you're going to play it, if you see a certain chord, you would like to play a groove or solo on that chord, it would be very useful. For example, for this particular song, this is So What by Miles Davis. Then you will go to the half step higher. Again to D. Dorian can be used for the D, at least for the whole song if you want. You can choose other methods of approaching it, but one basic way of doing it is thinking of the D Dorian. In short, I'm thinking probably alright, so I would think that this would be my root note, and this would be my root note, my octave. When you do the groove or when you do the and then when you go to E flat, just imagine this is still D for the C major scale, like D. I would label this probably as D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then D. Just as if I'm shifting my fret on this particular bar, or I'm shifting the C to this one, so that I can visualize the mode will, the scale would light up into me, to my eyes as I play the E flat Dorian. Right? So I would imagine that this is my C. Alright? So that's how it was played. Oh, so if I'm going to play the C Ionian, alright? For the C Dorian, I would think that I'm playing the D flat as my root. The C Dorian. Alright? And then, again, this is not a hard and fast rule. This is just a suggestion. You can do this. Imagine that B flat is your C. So this will be your D. So D, E, F, G, A. Is it correct? D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then for Phrygian, imagine that this is your E, F, G, A, B, C. E, F. Oh, sorry. E. I'll get to E. So for Phrygian, imagine that this is my E. For Lydian, I would imagine that this is my F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Please remember that E and F and then B and C are only half step away. Alright? So for Mixolydian, it's just a flat 7. I would consider this as my G, G, A, B, C, D, A, B, C. Okay? And then Aeolian, probably everybody knows Aeolian already by now, so I would consider this is my A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And then Locrian, I would consider this as my B, so B, C, E, F, G, A. So that's how I would approach, at least how I applied, or I was able to absorb the concept about modes, how I memorize it with regards to the patterns. It's all patterns, it's all patterns. Do you think about it while you're playing? Most of the time, I'm not thinking about it. But when you're on your own, when you're on your practice, if you want to hit the note, for example, you're playing A minor. I'm just playing, at least based on my knowledge for the Aeolian. Alright, so that's how I would approach it for the modes. For soloing as well, which I will be probably lecturing in a different session, not for today. This one will be very useful for your soloing.
Part 2.
Before I proceed to the next one, I would like you to understand regarding chord construction. You will be hearing people saying that let's play 2-5-1 in the key of C. We'll play 1-6-2-5 in the key of E flat. Those kind of things. What does 1 mean? How do you write 1? How do you write 2? Okay? How do you write 5? Okay, what chord is 5? What chord when you say 6? So for this lesson, let me just, should I say, define those terminologies. If you would play the Ionian mode, like what I mentioned, this is the Ionian mode, the Do, Re, Mi, the one without the accidentals. The arpeggios, or the note that you would skip every note, would be C, E, G, and then B. This is your arpeggios. Just like a table, those are the, like for a chair, those are the legs that would keep the chair standing up. That would make the chord sound what it is. So if you're going to say a triad chord, you're just mentioning about the first 3 notes. The first 3 arpeggios, which are C, E, G. So if I'm talking about the C major triad, that would include C, E, and G. If if I'm a keyboard player, I would play C, E, and G on my keyboard. And then if I'm playing C major 7, like the question earlier, I would have to have the 7th interval to be heard. So I should have B on my chordings. Alright, for a keyboard player, those are 4 notes that you will be playing on your keyboard. C, E, G, and D. Alright? I will be introducing to you how I construct chords on the bass. Okay? Of course, guitar players can do that. That's how guitar players would start. That's how I started. For the bass, if I'm going to use this, so I will use E, C, E, G, and then B. Alright? You notice that there's an E over here that would indicate the major third. Okay, by now, anyone who doesn't understand about what is a major third? So for now, I think I have tackled the major third earlier. So major third would mean C. From C, the major third is E. So this is my major third. My fingers will not be able to play the G if I would play it this way. So I will transpose this, we call it inversion in chord construction. I will put the E over here. So that would be C, G, B, and then E. I place the E on the highest portion. So if you're going to play it, I can do this. This is my 1 chord. This is C major. Can I do it on other chords? Yes. On other keys, yes. So if I say this is B flat major, this is the C major 7, because I'm playing the 7th interval. B flat major 7, A flat major 7, and then E major 7. Those kind of things. Remember this configuration of your fingers when you play the chords on your bass. Right?
I'm playing bass. I mean, what are the notes that are essential for me to play chords? Because let's face it, we only have 4 strings.
Correct.
Which ones?
Okay.
Pag 6 ka na kasi.
I highlighted the arpeggios because this would be important or useful if you would be
Hirap na mag-4 pag nag-6
making your
ka na.
own bass line. Like for example, let's say I'm just playing the run on the D, right? If I know that the chord is the 1 chord and this is my note that I will be using. I'm playing this Arpeggio. Or if I know that this is a major 7 chord. Or if you want, I'll give you an example. This is
So I should highlight the one that defines the chord.
correct.
Okay.
If I may refine that statement, I would play
Ilipat mo lang
the
sa
arpeggio
ibang
that can make the chord better heard by the
Okay.
players. For example, if the chords, for example, is
7.
number 41 by the Matthews Band.
I think there's some bass players that do that. They play only on the 7s and the 3rds.
If I would
that they find
use
chord.
this for my this
Even on
knowledge
the
for
bass.
my, if I know that this is a minor chord, of course
Diyan-
you're not gonna play like
Diyan kinuha ang chords.
the whole time you just play this one, the whole note during the whole song. Of course it would be more exciting and more colorful if you would explore other groups on it. So I would choose the arpeggios as my highlight. If I know that this is a 2 chord, for example, something like that. Defining the chord would let you, should I say, explore on what mode you can utilize to be able to make a good bass line. Okay. Again, this is concentrating on the bass line, not on soloing. So for the Ionian, I will explore and tackle your topic later on as we go to the chords. For the Ionian, you can form the C major triad, major 7 triad. Or remember this configuration. Right? For the Dorian, the arpeggios that I have for C would be C, E flat, G, and then B flat. So for the C, for the Dorian, the notes that we will be using for the arpeggio will C, E flat, G, and then B flat. Alright, so the chords for this one would be, you can play, is for doing the C minor 7 because you're playing the 7 interval of the chord, or you can put it here. You know that this is E flat, I will put the E flat on this particular position so you can play the C minor chord over here. This is the 2 chord, or in this particular example, C minor 7. So if I'm going to play the 1 and the 2 chord in the C major scale, this is 1. The 2 chord is D minor 7. Alright? For the Phrygian, the intervals would be C, D, E flat, F, G. I mean the arpeggio would be C, E flat, G, E flat. If you would notice, the arpeggios for this one, it's not much different from this one. C, E flat, G, and B flat are the same arpeggios played on the Dorian. So the Dorian and the Phrygian contain the same arpeggios. So if you see a 2 chord, you see a 3 chord, you can play whichever mode that you would like when you do your bass line or when you solo. So for the chords for the Phrygian mode, or the 3 chord, if I'm going to play C, is the same. So going to the C major scale, if you're going to play the 1 chord, C major, the 2 chord would be C minor 7, the 3 chord would be the E minor 7. When you write the chords, if it's a minor chord, the numbers are represented by Roman numerals, and they are in lowercase if it's a minor, and it's a capital letter, or a higher case if it's a major chord. So 1 chord, I'm playing for the C major scale, 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord. Alright? C, D major 7, E major 7. Yeah, sorry. C, D minor 7, E minor 7. For sa Lydian, ito rin, for the Lydian, it's the arpeggios of C, E, G, and B would give us the same as the Ionian. So if you're going to play the major 7 chord, it's going to be like this as well. Or, so just to go back to the chord arrangement, 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, and then the 4 chord, which are C major, D minor 7, C major 7, B minor 7, E minor 7, and F major 7. And then the next one, this will be the last mode that I will be discussing for this afternoon, which is the Mixolydian. This is where the 5 chord lies. This is also known as the dominant 7 chord. The intervals for the arpeggios will be C, E, G, and E flat. They call it the major minor because it's a major 3rd and a minor 7th to be placed in that particular chord. So if you're going to play it here, so 1, this way, you can play it this way, or you can play it this way. If you're going to put it on a higher, on this, including the E string, you can play it this way. This one is E, which is an octave of the major third. Alright? So before I stop, let me just give you the progression for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2 chord, 3 chord,
Din sa gitara.
4 chord, 5 chord. Alright? So if they say 2-5-1, it means, for example, 2-5-1 for the key of C, they're talking about D minor 7, 5, which is the dominant 7 chord, which is G7,
Tapos C.
and then 1, which is the C major 7. So when they say
C.
2-5-1 in the key of G, so let's say someone would give you a verbal, should I say, spontaneous jam. Let's say, let's play around the key of G and key of F doing 2-5-1s like. That's how we would apply it. So if you would encounter a lesson online that would say something like 2-5-1, 1-6-2-5, there's a lot of them. So can I just ask you, at least for, if I know, if you understood this particular aspect, I'm going to play this particular sequence. There's a lot of songs that goes with this. A lot of songs that go with this chord. It's G, D, G, D, E minor, C.
Just say it loud. Say it loud.
Different feel, different tempo. It's a common chord progression for everyone. All right. And another one would be 1, correct. Here, There, and Everywhere, or Francis M's Kaleidoscope World. So that's how we would label, or should I say, name the chords. 1, 6. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 in the key of G, because your one chord lies in G. If you say 1, 2, 3, 4 in the key of C, that would be okay, C, D, E, F. If I would say 1, 6, 2, 5 in the key of a B flat, so 1, 6, 2, G minor. So B flat, G minor, and then C minor, and then F dominant 7. So 1, 6, 2, 5. So those kind of things. Before I end, this will be the last portion of my topic. If you have the opportunity to do this again next time, I would be glad to share what I know. But,
definitely, there will be a next time.
For the chords, 1, 6, 2, 5 again would be. So. Alright, sana meron kayo natutunan. Do it slowly. Do it slowly when you go at home. Review. For the rest of the modes, just
Okay po mamaya.
Thank you.